Afghanistan, a landlocked country in Central Asia, has been a crossroads of civilizations for millennia. Its towering mountains and arid plains have witnessed the ebb and flow of empires. From the ancient Silk Road traders to modern-day travelers, Afghanistan's strategic location has shaped its destiny. The Afghan people, known for their resilience and hospitality, have a rich cultural heritage. This land of ancient history and vibrant traditions invites us to explore its fascinating story. Afghanistan's rugged terrain has also fostered a strong sense of independence among its people. Diverse ethnic groups, each with unique customs and languages, call this land home. The Pashtuns, Tajiks, Hazaras and Uzbeks are some of the major ethnic groups that contribute to Afghanistan's cultural tapestry. Despite the turmoil of its past, Afghanistan's spirit remains unbroken, a testament to the strength and resilience of its people. The history of Afghanistan stretches back thousands of years. Archaeological evidence points to early settlements dating back to the Stone Age. By the Bronze Age, the Indus Valley civilization flourished in the region, leaving behind impressive urban centers. These early civilizations laid the foundation for a rich cultural heritage that would be shaped by successive waves of migration and conquest. The rise of the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great in the 6th century BC brought Afghanistan under its rule. The region became a satrapy or province of the vast Persian Empire, adopting its administrative systems and cultural influences. Alexander the Great's conquests in the 4th century BC brought Hellenistic culture to Afghanistan, leaving behind a legacy of art and architecture. The Greco-Bactrian kingdom, a fusion of Greek and Central Asian cultures, flourished for centuries, evidence of the enduring impact of these ancient encounters. Afghanistan's strategic location at the heart of Asia has made it a prize sought by many conquerors throughout history. The ebb and flow of empires have left an indelible mark on the region's cultural and political landscape. In the 7th century AD, Arab armies brought Islam to Afghanistan, forever altering the religious and cultural fabric of the region. The region became a center of Islamic learning and scholarship, with cities like Herat and Balkh emerging as important centers of trade and commerce along the Silk Road. The Mongol conquests under Genghis Khan in the 13th century brought devastation to Afghanistan, but the region eventually recovered under the rule of Timur, also known as Tamerlane. Timur, a Turco-Mongol conqueror, made Samarkand in present-day Uzbekistan his capital, but his empire encompassed much of Afghanistan. He is remembered for his military genius and his patronage of the arts, which led to a flourishing of Persian literature and architecture in the region. As the Mughal Empire declined in the 18th century, Afghanistan emerged as a strategically important region in the rivalry between the British and Russian empires. This struggle for dominance in Central Asia became known as the Great Game. The British, concerned about Russian expansionism, sought to establish a buffer state in Afghanistan to protect their interests in India. This led to a series of conflicts between the British and the Afghans in the 19th century, known as the Anglo-Afghan Wars. The First Anglo-Afghan War, 1839 to 1842, ended in a humiliating defeat for the British, with their retreat from Kabul becoming a symbol of Afghan resistance. The Second Anglo-Afghan War, 1878 to 1880, saw the British impose their control over Afghanistan's foreign policy, but at a high cost. These conflicts left a legacy of mistrust and resentment towards foreign powers that continues to shape Afghanistan's political landscape to this day. The 20th century witnessed the emergence of a modern Afghan state. King Amanullah Khan, who came to power in 1919, sought to modernize Afghanistan and reduce its isolation from the rest of the world. He introduced reforms in education, women's rights, and government administration, but his efforts were met with resistance from conservative elements within Afghan society. Amanullah Khan's reign was short-lived, but his legacy as a reformer and modernizer continues to inspire generations of Afghans. Following a period of political instability, Zahir Shah ascended to the throne in 1933, ushering in a period of relative peace and stability that lasted for 4 decades. During his reign, Afghanistan adopted a policy of non-alignment during the Cold War, balancing its relations between the Soviet Union and the West. This period also saw significant economic and social development with the construction of new infrastructure and the expansion of education and healthcare. The relative stability of Zahir Shah's reign came to an abrupt end in 1973 when his cousin Mohammed Daoud Khan seized power in a coup. Daoud Khan declared Afghanistan a republic and embarked on an ambitious program of modernization and social reform. However, his rule was marked by political repression and instability, which created an environment ripe for revolution. In 1978, the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan, a communist party backed by the Soviet Union, seized power in a coup. The new government's radical reforms and brutal crackdown on dissent triggered a widespread insurgency, plunging Afghanistan into a decade-long war. In 1979, the Soviet Union, fearing the collapse of its communist ally, invaded Afghanistan, marking the beginning of a brutal conflict that would have far-reaching consequences. The Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan in 1989 left the country in ruins and mired in civil war. Various Mujahideen factions, each vying for power, continued to fight for control of the country. Amidst this chaos and destruction, a new force emerged, the Taliban. Composed mostly of Pashtun religious students, the Taliban promised to restore order and impose their strict interpretation of Islamic law. By 1996, the Taliban had captured Kabul and controlled most of Afghanistan. They imposed a brutal regime, particularly targeting women and girls who were denied education and many basic freedoms. Afghanistan, once a crossroads of cultures and a beacon of Buddhist art, became an isolated and repressive state under the Taliban's rule. The international community condemned the Taliban's human rights abuses and support for terrorist groups, leading to diplomatic isolation and economic sanctions. The September 11, 2001, terrorist attacks on the United States marked a turning point in Afghanistan's history. The Taliban's refusal to hand over Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, who was responsible for the attacks, led to the US invasion of Afghanistan in October 2001. The US-led intervention quickly toppled the Taliban regime, but it also plunged Afghanistan into another prolonged conflict. In the aftermath of the invasion, a new government was established with the support of the international community. The Bonn Agreement, signed in December 2001, laid out a roadmap for a new political order in Afghanistan, including the drafting of a new constitution and the holding of democratic elections. The international community poured billions of dollars into aid and reconstruction efforts, hoping to rebuild Afghanistan and prevent it from becoming a safe haven for terrorists once again. Afghanistan's journey through time is a testament to the resilience of its people. Despite facing countless challenges, the Afghan people have preserved their rich cultural heritage and their spirit of hospitality. From the ancient Silk Road traders to the modern-day entrepreneurs, Afghans have always shown a remarkable ability to adapt and rebuild. The country stands at a crossroads once more, facing an uncertain future. The international community has a moral obligation to support the Afghan people in their quest for peace and prosperity. Education, healthcare, and economic opportunity are essential for building a brighter future for all Afghans. By investing in the next generation and supporting civil society, we can help create a more just and equitable society in Afghanistan. The journey ahead will be long and arduous, but the Afghan people have shown time and again their capacity for resilience, hope, and determination.